Richard Tice is a businessman and chairman of the Brexit Party. Late last night, it was announced that they are relaunching as an anti-lockdown party called Reform UK, in a move, of course, that might focus the minds of Tory MPs. Good morning to you, Richard Tice.
Well, good morning, Julia, and it's great to be with you. Our first interview after we announced the plans to rename the Brexit Party as the Party of Reform, Reform UK. And it may be grey outside, Julia, but we're feeling bright and cheery with the incredibly positive, huge response we've had from people overnight. It really has been most welcome indeed.
Well, last time you guys decided to form a political party, it was a matter of months in 2019 from the Brexit Party being launched to you winning the European elections. I think it is impossible not to argue that this ended up focusing the minds of Tories enough that they ousted Theresa May and put Boris Johnson into number 10. And that, of course, led to the election and, of course, Brexit being delivered. What do you hope to achieve this time?
Well, obviously, we've got elections next May. We've got local elections. We've got regional elections in London, in Wales, in Scotland, and we've got all the police and crime commissioners. So there's lots to go for, and we plan to be standing in all of those elections. But that's a few months away. Very short term, we need to work to give confidence, frankly, to the people that there is another way to dealing with the urgent crisis at hand, which is, of course, how to deal with corona and how to respond to it. And in our view, there is another way, there is a better way. It's called the Great Barrington way. And it was truly disgraceful that the incredible experts, epidemiologists, medics and scientists who launched that, the way that they were abused and attacked by the establishment centred around Imperial College, by MPs at Westminster, when actually the Great Barrington way is the sensible way forward. It's effectively the sort of approach that has been very successfully adopted in Sweden, that now is not seeing a second wave or a surge in cases and deaths. So we believe that's the right way. And what you do is you focus protection on the most vulnerable, those who need shielding in a really concentrated way. You do that job and do it properly, but then actually with good hygiene, with common sense, the rest of us, we get on with our lives and we build up immunity through the population. And let's remember, of course, Julia, this was the original strategy of the government, to build up a level of immunity through the population, because you cannot eliminate this virus. You can't get rid of it. We have to learn to live with it. We have to learn not to hide in fear of it, but actually to stand up, to stand tall, to stand confident and to face into it. And for the vast, vast majority, over 99.5% of people who catch the virus, of course, actually they survive it with either no symptoms or flu-like symptoms. It is only dangerous for a tiny, tiny minority of people. Those are the people who need focused protection, and the rest of us need to get on with our lives. And let's be very clear, Julia, if you have a sick economy, and that's what we face now, you have sick people. If you have a dead economy, Julia, sadly, you have dead people.
Why do you think then the polling consistently shows more than 70% plus support for lockdown? People wanted to have an earlier lockdown, a bigger lockdown, a deeper lockdown, a longer lockdown, any version of something bigger. The government has full support from across the political divide for a lockdown. Why do you think so many people want that when you're saying that it's the wrong thing to do?
Well, the truth is, I'm very, very sceptical. I always have been of polls. Maybe YouGov, the propaganda arm of the government, are polling civil servants working in the nice, comfy homes, because that's not what I'm hearing out on the streets, out in the pubs, amongst just young people. I'm hearing that people are sick to the back teeth with this, that they don't believe the data, they know there's another way, and people want some leadership. And we are, Julia, we are a nation of lions and lionesses, and we are sadly not being led by a government and a prime minister who has got the courage to face into this virus in the proper way, in a balanced way, so that we can protect the vulnerable, but actually we can make sure that the economy can move forward, that businesses can still survive. We're seeing at the moment, literally with this second lockdown, we're seeing tens of thousands of businesses, small businesses, self-employed, who've been hanging on by their fingertips. Well, those fingernails are being ripped out of their fingers, as sadly those businesses and those people will just give up. And the millions of jobs that are either at risk or have gone. I was really struck yesterday by reports that over 900 people had applied for one job as a waiter in a bar in Manchester.
Yeah, a job that's only going to last until 10 p.m. on Wednesday night. Can I ask you, because a lot of people have tweeted me this when I said that you were going to be on the show, and people are saying, well, Richard Tice is a businessman. Richard Tice has money in property in central London. He wants to get rents. He wants people back at work. He doesn't care about people who are dying. He wants people back at work so he can carry on making money. And this is all about your personal business interests, not a principle. What do you say to that?
Utter garbage, Julia. Complete nonsense. I don't have any interests in any offices anywhere near any city in the whole of the UK. My interests are in industrial property, where people actually make things, they manufacture things. They're the people who actually deliver the online orders. And, we have to keep the economy going. I've said it before, if you don't have a healthy economy, you don't have any money to invest in our wonderful doctors and nurses that provide the frontline services. It is as simple as that. We have to make sure that we can continue to pay for the public services that people want. The way you do that, folks, is actually by having a healthy economy. And if you've got millions of people unemployed, then the damage to mental health. I'm hearing, Julia, that more people are committing suicide in London every day than are dying of COVID. We need to put this in perspective. There is no excess deaths going on at this time of the year compared to the normal 5-year average here in the UK. And we forecast, Julia, for the whole of 2020, when you adjust for population, actually the total deaths in this year, every death is a tragedy and a sadness, of course, we know that. But in the whole of 2020, it will be an average year compared to the last 30 years, an average year for total deaths. And yet we're shutting down the economy and locking people in and damaging their mental health. And it's wrong. There is a better way.